the basic feeling of the Christians is of no certainty for tomorrow. And from this also their perhaps wish, desire, those who can to leave, to find another place, because they cannot plan their future here. The Christians have become less and less. Since 48, perhaps 60% of the Christians have left the country.
The number of Christians in Jerusalem and West Bank, we are 50,000 out of 3.5 million. So less than 2% of the population. In Israel, we are 140 or 50,000 out of the 7 million of the population of Israel.
This is a very problematic issue, and the risk, which is very evident, is that the Christians, at least in West Bank, will remain just a cosmetic and decorative presence, not more than that.
I was born here in Bethlehem. My father was born in Bethlehem. It means a lot for me to be born in the city of David, in Bethlehem, the place of where Jesus was born. I don't like to leave my country, because all my father's land, my houses, and my family are here. He told us, my father, look, if you want to live in this country, this is the country of problems, because this is a small area, and everyone is fighting for this area. But we look forward always on the hope and to have a better situation and better times, not for us only, for the time of our children. My son is telling me, you have seen something in your life. You have been to Lebanon, you have been to Syria, you have been to, it was open. But now what we have seen, Father?
We're standing here on the roof of the Ecumenical Institute at Tantur on the southern edge of Jerusalem, looking over Beit Jala, Bethlehem, and Beit Sachur. Straight in front of us, we see the wall that has been built by Israel to separate the Palestinian territories from Israel. Stretching in front of us here, this part of it, a 8-9 meter high concrete wall. Other parts of it are a road and fence system.
I understand the need of security for Israel. I understand that. The wall is not a solution. It's all creating more anger, more frustration. So it is a punishment and a shame.
I know there's a very, very strong feeling of, particularly on the matter of freedom of movement, which has got to be one of the most difficult things to cope with if you cannot move about freely from place to place. This can leave you very quickly feeling that you are living in a kind of prison.
Bethlehem is a prison. It's just a prison. Nobody can get out without any permit. And even if you have permits, they are very restricted, from 6 to 7, or 6 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock in the evening. If you are late, you cannot come back, you can be put in jail. The people are completely cut off from the rest of the world, especially Bethlehem.
More than 60 or 70% of the people who are living here, they cannot go out from town. They cannot move without crossing the border. I can go from here to my workers in Beit Sahur. This is a small village of the shepherds. I can go to Beit Jala, even to go to the Palestinian territory. Let us say Jericho is with the Palestinian territory. It's very difficult. We live 5 minutes actually from Jerusalem, and we cannot arrive Jerusalem. And if a tourist come here, can pass easily with his passport. But for us, we cannot pass easily. It's not easy life. We are treated like terrorists.
Wall means no communication. Wall means I don't want to see you to understand. For us, it is a wrong step. You cannot separate the Palestinian people with a wall.
Well, it's not difficult to look at the West Bank and to see there is no future. The situation is not tragic, it's more than that. Walls never bring peace. They bring more frustrations, bitterness, hatred. They create ghettos. These are the walls.
Christian of Bethlehem, they live only from tourism. So if the political situation is calm and we have pilgrims, they can live, they can work, they can sell what they do as a souvenir. If the political situation is bad, if nobody comes to Bethlehem because they are afraid, because there's no peace, these people suffer and suffer and suffer.
I would say we have about between 55 to 65% of unemployment in the city of Bethlehem. 65% live below poverty line, which is $2 per day per person. And according to the UN, 50% of the Palestinian people suffer from malnutrition, especially the past year due to the boycott of the Palestinian Authority.
So many places, as you see, closed for many years. And this is something bad. We are near the Church of Nativity. No one can believe that these stores closed, no work. All my family left this country. We are 8, 5 boys, 3 girls. I'm the only one who remain here with my wife, my son. All the brothers leave, they are living in the States. They left from the first Intifada and some before because of situation.
Pilgrimage and tourism. This has gone down to 10 to 15% of the normal. The second source of income is employment in Israel. Nobody can go there. This has gone down to 10 to 15% of the normal because they are not given a permit to leave the city. The third source of income is agriculture. 1/3 of our agricultural land has been confiscated. Most of our olive trees now lie behind the wall. That's why we are in a very bad economic situation. The other cause is definitely the physical and psychological pressure caused by this wall of separation and by the occupation.
Not more than 10,000 Christians there is in Bethlehem. I used to walk from the shop till my house. I used to say hello for 10 or 15 people. But now we don't know the people. The majority are Muslims. And the big capitalists here are Muslims. We don't have anything against the Muslims. We used to work with the Muslims We used to sit to live with the Muslims before. It's not like today. I don't know what happened within the last 10 years or 15 years. I don't know what something changed in the air of this country.
There used to be a very good comprehension between the Christians and the Muslims in these parts in the territories. But now, through fundamentalism, which is growing, they have stopped to have contacts.
Little by little, all the aspects of society are becoming Muslim society. And there is a process of Islamization of the society. I'm not complaining, I'm not accusing no one, it's just a fact. So also if you not impose the Muslim law in the country, it is a fact that the country thinks, live, behave as Muslim country. For the Christians it becomes difficult.
Now in the West Bank, the situation is difficult in these relations because there is no authority. The Palestinian Authority has no authority. It has no chance to have the true authority, to impose its authority, because it is until now mixed Israeli and Palestinian. So among both, no one is responsible.
We have to remember that the Christian community is not a ghetto apart. In Palestine, by example, they are a part of the conflict. They are a part of the population. They suffer with the others, they hope with the others, and we are not put them alone, aside. Besides this, we have our faith. As Christians, we don't share some positions about violence and so on. What we can do, if possible, to be a bridge between two peoples in conflict. That's why we need to be sure of ourselves, sure of our faith, sure of our mission here in the Holy Land.
Here everyone is religious, Christian, Muslim or Jew. And therefore the Christians also, they feel the need to define themselves, to show themselves as Christians, to show their Christian identity.
As Arab Christians, they're very much connected to their Arab culture, to Palestinian society. But as Christians, of course, they're also very much connected to their Jewish roots and connected to the Western Christian world. And this puts them very, very much in a between position. I truly believe that the Christians in this land, despite their very, very small numbers, can play a vital bridging role, can be a bridge between Israeli Jewish society and Palestinian Muslim society. And everything must be done to preserve their presence and to strengthen their life in this land.
Now we tell our people that our vocation is to be Christian in the Holy Land, here, not elsewhere in the world. God wants us Christians here to be witnesses to Jesus in his land.
And that demands also from us this readiness to suffer, to show that we can live as brothers and sisters, even if we are different. It's not easy, but it's our task.
From the political point of view, we are nothing. We don't have any influence on the life. since we are little, we can witness, just witness a very short, very simply different style of life, different style, different way to live within the conflict, within this situation.
If the Holy Land lose all its Christians, it won't be a Holy Land anymore. It's very nice to have all these holy places, but the living stones, these are the Christians there. And these people need to be helped to stay. We have to be with them, we have to pray for them, we have to help them financially.
If we still have people here, it's thanks to the help of many other churches in the world, thanks to many Catholic organizations. We pray for them, we ask them not to forget the Holy Land, not to forget the Christians, the families who are still here, to give them hope, to give them work, to give them dignity.
Our workers are relying on the aid to the church in need these days. The ACN are giving us good work, and they are keeping the Holy Families, the families of Bethlehem, to be in Bethlehem, not to go away, to fly away, to immigrate from this country. We now produce all kinds of olive wood carvings. These carvings are set in different statues and cups and beads, rosaries. I have up to now almost 23 or 24 families. They are working with us normally. But for the rosaries, we have more than 30 or 40. They are working at home, mounting the rosaries, polishing the rosaries, putting on thread the rosaries. They work very hard. Most of them, they were very poor.
I have worked with Victor for nearly 25 years. My situation was very difficult to begin with, but thank God improved once I started working with Victor. It is a fact that there is no work in Israel, no tourism, no investment. I manufactured the machine I work on. I didn't buy them, I made them. The full burden of responsibility rests on my shoulders, ever since my wife's pregnancy and death 6 years ago. I did not marry again and bring up my children on my own. Schools are now closed for the summer holidays, which is why the children can help me with my work. I work alone, so I need their help.
What we should do for the Holy Land? What can I do? For me, I always say to the pilgrims, to the people who come from the different part of the church, you belong here. We all Christians belong here, because here are our roots. And so there is this special, unique communion among the church living here and the church living all over the world.
One rosary, even one rosary, helps a family somehow. And we hope that these families, having a way of getting a little bit of money, will stay and will not think of going away.
If they buy one rosary, believe me, they help people to survive in this area. I want to tell them, Christians who are living in the West, that as much as they hear in the televisions and in everywhere in the world, they don't feel with us like coming here and to see how we are living. There is nothing to be afraid. If you walk at midnight, nobody will touch you. Nobody will make you any harm here.
Because of the situation, many pilgrims are afraid to come because they think that we are living in the middle of the war, which is not true. This pilgrimage is absolutely safe. It's important to come and see and witness what is happening here.
The presence of pilgrims is a good help on all aspects, spiritual, moral, even political, because pilgrims are messengers of peace. They are not people of war. They come to pray only on the holy places. They do not come to make war.
The pilgrimages want to visit the places, Nativity Church, Holy Sepulchre, and all these very holy places. But what I see is very often is that they don't get in touch with the local communities. When you send people just for an hour to Bethlehem, go inside the Nativity Church, get outside of the Nativity Church and go back in your car. I mean, it's a scandal. They should stay there and feel and meet with people. These are good people who need to feel that the rest of the world is with them, in prayer as well as in help.
Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto.
I commend you to go and visit the Holy Sepulchre, it's great. Go and visit the holy shrines, but do not forget that the living stones of this country are much more important than all the shrines together. Our Christians, mainly in the West Bank, feel themselves isolated, rejected, forgotten, neglected. I know what it does to our Christians when you come to Galilee where we have more freedom. We are strengthened with your visit. We are inspired by your faith. We become so proud because we shared our food with you.
Alors nous sommes un groupe qui vient de France, de Vendée, à l'ouest de la France.
We're a group from France, from Vendée in the west, from southern Brittany. We went to the Negev desert first, in the footsteps of Abraham and Moses, by the Dead Sea.
Then we proceeded to Galilee and Lake Tiberias. We visited the source of the Jordan and Nazareth, where Jesus lived. And we reached Jerusalem yesterday.
Comme c'était dimanche, voilà, nous avons préféré venir dans une communauté chrétienne locale.
Because today is Sunday, we were keen to join a Christian community and not only want to uncover stones, but also to meet the living church here in the Holy Land. We want to meet and pray with this church, to be infected by the spontaneity of the faith of this land, where Jesus himself lived.
Oui, nous avons pu rencontrer un autre couple, un couple qui est ici et...
We got to know a married couple here. We talked with them about the difficulties of living here, because of the very difficult political and economic situation here, where a father, head of household and qualified economist, cannot find work and feels like a prisoner. They and their children have to face up to many, many problems. We also talked about how supportive mutual prayer is.
le soutien par la prière réciproque ici.
Having had the opportunity to meet a family that lives here awakened many emotions and will enable us to carry concrete people in our prayers.
Ça rend l'incarnation très concrète.
The incarnation becomes very concrete here. We see landscapes, we meet people, and so we begin to read and see the Bible differently, through the lie of the Lamb, through the different shades. Back home, thanks to meeting people here, we better understand what we hear on the evening news. We begin to comprehend that behind it all, there are people who really suffer. It all becomes much more real. I most heartily invite everybody watching this film to come to the Holy Land. It's important for our faith as well as to show our fellow Christians our support. They like when we come to meet them here. It helps them. The Holy Land must not become a museum. It must remain a place where Christians live.
The most important thing is that people will pray for the Holy Land and to have peace, real peace here. So many times I sit on the balcony and I have my small dinner in the night and I see the Church of Nativity. And I tell my sons and my family, look, we are living here, we are living and we are eating on our veranda and we are seeing the Church of Nativity. There is so many people are dying to come and see this Church of Nativity. This country has to be opened. It has to be opened for Muslims, for Christians, for Israelis, for everybody. The land is not for anybody. The land is for all. This is a holy land.
At one time, we also used to play on the other side, but they put up the wall to divide us, to prevent us from crossing to the other side. We are one family, but half are here and half over there. There are also children on the other side of the wall playing, but we can no longer play together.